Thank you, Mike. Joining us now, our aging issues expert, Deb Bernacki of Happier at Home. The question is, Deb, and I love this question, who cares for the caregivers?
Well, it is a difficult question, and all of us know someone who is a caregiver, whether you're a caregiver yourself. If not, there's always someone next to you who's a caregiver, and oftentimes they're forgotten. So one of the key things to do is to, if you see someone in the caregiver role, to make sure you're offering your help or you're offering support or giving them information about services that are available for them to give them a break.
Services for them. I mean, we so focus on services for the patient.
Yes.
And I guess I'm not really aware of too many services for the caregiver. What are you talking about?
Well, services for the caregiver are things that will help to give them a break. So there are adult daycares where the client themselves or the loved one can go and do activities with other people. They can also have a caregiver come into the home to give they could have a paid caregiver come into the home or a family member come into the home to give the regular caregiver a break to get out of the house as well. There are respite services, so you could continue to take your vacations, continue to meet with your girlfriends and your buddies and do things that you normally would do, because you really need to focus on those things so you don't burn out, because some of us, we slip into that role of a caregiver and don't really realize that we are. It might start off as administering medications or setting up medications for a parent or a loved one, and then a little at a time you're doing some shopping and then driving them around, and then all of a sudden bathing. And it could be a parent, but it could be an elderly person who's a spouse that's providing all these services and help for their loved one that really needs the help themselves. And so they're neglecting themselves in that process. And so they end up getting burned out and really need to ask for help. And oftentimes they just don't ask for the help because they feel obligated. They start to feel guilty if they don't. They feel it's just their duty to do that.
I remember lawmakers very recently, talking about the fact that no one gets paid when they take on this caregiver role.
Yes, and I know in 2009, if you added up the amount of dollars that caregivers would have been paid for the care rendered, it would have been $450 billion. So that's a lot of money to have been to spend. And we do have resources out there. Today is the Lifespan Celebration for Aging, so it's timely that we're talking about this today. In our community, if you go online and look at Lifespan and Elder Source's website, they are a connection to resources for us. We have wonderful resources with the Alzheimer's Association, and some of them are free services that you can get, and some are paid. We also can look at, I know with my company, Happier at Home, we can look at Veterans Aid and Attendance benefits. If you qualify for something like that, you don't have to even be the veteran yourself. If you're a spouse or a surviving spouse, you may qualify for some assistance, and it's a good amount of assistance too that people aren't aware of.
I'm glad you brought up the places to go, because oftentimes caregivers are so busy. The thought of like stopping for a minute and looking up the help, taking the time to find the help would be daunting in itself. How do you find the time to take that first step? But all of those resources you mentioned, that's good.
And of course there's support groups that you also can find online through those resources that I mentioned. And it's always great to talk to other people, because they may be able to connect you with groups or other people that we don't know about too. And if you can't get out of your home, invite people into your home and have coffee. And this is a really noble thing that you're doing for your loved one. And it is a wonderful thing to do. You need to think that you're going to be in it for the long run, because you really don't know how long it's going to be. So in that process, you really need to take care of yourself. and take care of your family at the same time. That's where this sandwich generation comes from.
Yeah.
You know, sandwich between helping your family and helping your parents. But at the very end of it, you can, I know from personal experience, really feel very good that you helped your family and you did the best you could.
Right.
A tough job, but thanks for helping make it a little bit easier this morning. We appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Deb. Coming up, Hannah Welker is learning the safety and production behind some of the country's leading air guns made right here in the Rochester area. We're going to check in with her. She's at Crossman Corporation. That's coming up next.